it through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, it's the After Show, where we gather together to talk about this and that and the other thing, as we tend to do. So we have Jim Kinsey over there running the board. Hey, Jim.
Oh, yeah, running the board today was a blast, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. We have internet connection issues. We've got caller issues. Just stuff going on. But I understand that you are sitting there watching the snow and waiting till you can run out and get on your snowmobile.
I am. I'm stoked. I love snow, and I've been waiting, and I've ridden them in the past. It was the first year I actually have one, so I'm pretty stoked.
Oh, you bought your own, huh?
Yeah.
Or did you steal one?
I didn't steal one. Well, it was kind of a steal.
Michelle, help me out here.
It was kind of a steal.
Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't. The guy that was selling it didn't necessarily know what was wrong with it, and I didn't feel obligated to tell him when I heard it trying to run. So he just dumped it, and I made it not run so bad. Bad coil and a new spark plug.
That was it.
Yep.
And you got yourself a snowmobile.
Yeah. He didn't give it
How
to
old
me,
is
but it's a 97, I think, Yamaha 700 VMAX.
So it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
So if you had paid for it, it almost would have been too much no matter what.
Exactly. It's got 4,000 snow miles on it, so we're ready to rock.
Snow miles. Yeah. Snow, baby, snow. Let's go.
That's right.
All right, so here's a question for you. When you got all your winter clothes on, how do you carry and how can you get to your gun if you needed it?
I would just say, take all my money. I can't. If you can get my wallet out of here, you can have it.
Yeah, that's right. If you can get through the 6 layers down to the wallet, you deserve it, right?
I think when you have that much clothing, it's almost like Kevlar, isn't it?
It probably is. Pretty close to it. Well, one thing's for sure, you can't outrun anybody with all that stuff on.
That's true. That's true.
We're like the Michelin Man with all that stuff on here.
Nice visual.
Oh, goodness gracious. Michelle, have you completed all of your Christmas shopping?
Yes.
Well, no, there's the one thing.
What?
Well, yeah, that is not something I'm going to shop for. I now have a want that I didn't know I wanted before. It seems to
Henry
me,
on the name?
Yeah, it seems to me that somebody said something about a Henry 327 lever. What?
No. What? So now we're looking for a long box under our Christmas tree?
Well,
yes.
Kudos to the industry for, yes. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Wait a minute. You're the one who owns the gun store. Can't you get this thing?
I had no idea that was out there. None.
Well, if you listen to Gun Talk, you would learn things like this.
Gun Talk sounds familiar.
Gun Talk.
We talked about it last week, but you're probably on the phone during the show. Oh, well, that's right. That's what you're supposed to be on the phone. That's right.
That's what I get paid for. A funny thing.
Yeah, see, we're a contestant, and we think you meant to talk about it, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember.
Neither one of us heard it.
I remember the conversation. Nobody wanted to pick that up.
Right.
That's the conversation I remember. I don't remember there being an introduction of this.
It just happened like in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Sweet.
And Lipsy's did some work with Henry Repeating Arms and bring it out. It's not a Lipsy's exclusive, but you guys, since Lipsy's is a distributor, you can order it from Lipsy's or through Lipsy's, or really probably through whomever you order to get Henry stuff. But
I'm thinking this needs to be a Cleveland exclusive. I mean,
no. What you want it to be a Michelle Cleveland exclusive.
Well, in all honesty, my husband said, you need that in a lever action gun. And I was like, wow. And so we started talking about it. So, yeah.
So you're ordering 2 of those Monday, right?
That's exciting. Tuesday, we're still open until 6.
Text the store, say, get an order going on that one right now.
Oh, my.
You're excited, aren't you?
Yeah, that's exciting. Heck yeah.
Oh, that is terrific.
We need a pair. One's not enough.
That's right.
That's right. 1 is none, 2 is 1. So there you go.
Well,
Right.
we're going to take a Sharpie, put GT on the stock just to say it's a Gun Talk version. Close enough.
Or just carve it into the stock.
Yeah, wood burner.
The wood burner. Shop. Remember
Christmas.
Shop where you had the wood burner?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of stores and such, do we have Warren on 3 back there?
No, he's gone.
No.
We do have Matthew and Metairie.
Well, let's talk to Matthew and Metairie, or as we like to say down here, Metairie. Hey, Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing good, Tom. So I got a two-parter. First is, what do you think about Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State? I knew you were concerned about Petraeus and Romney. Well, they're gone, and now it looks like it's going to be Rex.
Don't know the first thing about him. What do you know about him?
He's not made a career about crusading against our guns. He runs an oil company, a big one.
Right.
He knows the players in the world, and furthermore, he knows why they play the game, which is important.
Yep.
David Codrea ringing the alarm, so I'm not overly concerned. I'm going to pay attention to his face on the war on guns, see what he has to say as he does more research. Now, the other thing, that guy was trying to make the choice between the Kimber or something else. Choose the Kimber because people have to genuflect you when you own a Kimber. It's written in the Second Amendment somewhere.
That's hilarious. I love that. Yeah, it is an interesting thing how people can get so wrapped around a brand. And, when it's a 1911, it's a 1911. I mean, honestly, people, it's a 1911. The features are the same. It works the same. All you're looking for is somebody who makes a good one. And if the three of us were sitting around here thinking about brands of 1911s, it would be hard to limit it to 6 and probably hard to limit it to 10 or 12 manufacturers who are making really seriously good 1911s, don't you think?
Yeah, even without going the custom Les Bear stuff, just production line stuff.
Well, I mean, Smith & Wesson, great 1911s. Ruger, great 1911s. Springfield Army, great 1911s. Colt, obviously. Kimber, clearly. And then SIG, absolutely. And then we're just barely getting started. It's kind of like, I don't know, pick
Remington,
the features you want,
Ithaca,
maybe. Remington.
Yeah, that was a tough call, though, because you can't Springfield or Kimber. It's like neither one's a bad call.
Well, and look, I get these emails every day. I'm thinking about this versus that. Which is better? Which should I get? I don't know. Now, if somebody says, look, I'm thinking about getting, and I'm not going to name a name, but a piece of junk versus a Ruger. Well, that's a little bit easier. But frankly, the problem there becomes, okay, how much do you want to spend? Because if the one that I don't really care for is $200 and the other one is $800, and you say, but I only have $200, then $200, that's the perfect gun for you, isn't it?
Whatever fits the bill.
And they all work. That's the other part of it is nobody much is making bad guns these days. Not much.
Yeah, and any gun's better than no gun. You can say, well, $200 my budget, so I'm not going to buy a gun.
Or, how about this, Michelle? Go used.
Absolutely. You can save a ton going used. It sounded to me like he was looking at buying both of them. He just wondered which one to get first. And I don't know that either one of those models are going anywhere. So
he didn't want just both of them. He wanted every 9mm.
Well,
he wants every 9mm 1911 ever made. And he's on his way.
More power to him.
Excellent.
It's great.
Did you like my tactical selection tool I suggested for him?
Yes.
It's in your pocket, dude. Flip it.
Flip that
coin. Just pick one. I don't care. It's going to work. It's all good.
One of those things that people don't often budget for when they go pistol shopping of any sorts is ammunition costs.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because
you say, okay, I'm going to spend $800. Okay, how much of that budget is for ammo?
Right, because a firearm without any kind of ammunition, as we say, is just a paperweight. So, you got to put a budget in there somewhere for ammunition, whether it's at the same time or 2 weeks or a month from now.
Training falls into that same thought process.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, which I have a question about training. I don't know if you need to take a break first and we come back and ask that or where we go.
I don't know. How obnoxious is the question? Should we take a break first?
Is it paper training? Is it firearms training? What kind of... he may need to take a break.
Go ahead and ask the question. Just ask the question. We're already there now, for heaven's sakes.
Well, my question to you is this. We always recommend training to people who are looking at firearms. For women that are first coming in, men that are first coming into the industry, go get some training. Then find your pistol. Mm-hmm. How do you choose the training class for a mixed couple? And by mixed, I mean by mixed levels of
of experience.
Of skill and of training, because you might have a person that is a competitive shooter or comes out to a range frequently and shoots, who is just getting either the male or female into, this same hobby. And where do they go? How do they pick the training class? Because one's going to be more advanced than the other.
I think it's a great question, and let's do the old evil tease thing. When we come back from this break, we will actually talk about that, because I have an answer for that. How's that?
All right. Can't wait. Biting my nails.
Be right back.
Fans of Slip 2000 EWL gun lubricant will want to try EWL 30 this summer. The thicker EWL 30 sits up, migrates less, stays wetter longer, and will not dry out. Perfect for long-term storage. It also holds up better in hotter conditions, while still providing the excellent high round count performance you have come to expect from the original EWL. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022-style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
And we are back, and of course everyone is waiting on pins and needles, because Michelle, you asked this intriguing question as we went to the break. Would you mind repeating the question, please? This time do it in a way that we could actually understand. Oh, that was mean.
Wait a minute. I need to recollect my thoughts now.
You said your paper.
That was like a couple of minutes ago. I have no idea what I said.
How do you choose training appropriate for couples who have different levels of skill or training to their background?
Oh!
No.
Mr. Cutter!
Going on.
Is that Horseshack back there?
No, going on.
Never mind. Pay no attention to the fool in the corner over there with his hand waving around. Yes, Jim?
Thank you, Tom. I'm thinking beginner course for both of them, because anybody who has been shooting for a while can still benefit from the beginning shooting course, and let them go through the courses together is my thought. But I'm a button boy. What do I know? Tom?
I agree with the whole idea, but here's one thing I would add to that. You put them on opposite ends of the firing line. What do you think, Michelle? Keep them apart from each other.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't want him trying to help her.
Right.
This is my point in this.
Yep.
And, of course, it depends if we're talking about a basic familiarization class, or are we talking about an introduction to defensive use of guns.
Right. And I guess that's where I'm leaning more toward the defensive side. If both of them have experience, they know how to operate, function, to get comfortable carrying a firearm, there's a lot of mental preparation that goes into that. So if you have a person who is already trained, very comfortable in carrying a firearm, who has helped the opposing figure in their life pick a firearm, go to the range, they've shot the gun, and it's like, why aren't you carrying it? I want you to carry it. Let's go get some training. Let's help you get comfortable.
That happens all the time.
So how do you choose the class for that? In this situation, the gentleman already is in advanced level and is not opposed to stepping down. But at the same time, I guess wants to go through the experience with her and make it,
I go back. I think Jim's right. I think they take the same class. I think they take the beginning self-defense class, because even if somebody, and man, I cannot tell you how many times I've had this happen. People say, "I've been shooting all my life," or "I'm a competitive shooter," or I know how to shoot. Blah 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 blah. And then they take a basic beginning defensive class and they come away going, "Wow, there was really a lot of stuff I didn't know. I thought I knew this stuff." And maybe they're really good at manipulating their gun and shooting and all of that, but do you actually know the stuff that has to do with defensive use of guns? So I would recommend they both take the class, the basic introductory defensive class together.
So not a basic training class where you're going over, this is a sight, this is a trigger, this is how it works. We're talking about going into, like, I want to learn how to shoot on the move. I want to, have the most count on paper. And there's no reason, like, if you haven't taken that class as one or the other advanced person, and that's what you're interested in, but you have far more range time.
Right.
And the other
there's
person
still much
doesn't.
To learn.
Yeah, right. But the other person doesn't have as much range time. Is it going to be too big of a jump for that person to take that class? That's the question. It shouldn't be,
because if the instructor is good, then an instructor should be able to handle someone who has never touched a gun as well as someone who's experienced with a gun in the same class.
Well, and my thought on that kind of is, too, if it's a good trainer, they're going to see where the different levels of skill are immediately and be able to roll with that a little bit more.
A lot of times
before they ever load their gun, before they even load the gun, a good instructor will be able to look at it and go, okay, that's going to work, and that one over there, okay, we're going to have a little extra time with that person just to get him or her up to speed. But also, they should probably be asking at the beginning of the class.
Right, it's part of the qualifying,
Well,
what's your experience level, that kind of a thing.
Right. There's a lot of investigation that goes on, as you probably know, Tom, to pick the right trainer. And so when you're picking trainers like Chris Serino, or you're going out to gun sites, or you're taking Tiger McGee courses, or any of them with Masad Ayub, I mean, you already know the quality of the instructor. So there's lots of times they can customize the classes to you.
But to your point, now what happens when you're just looking for a local trainer? How do you know? And that's a question that I still have not figured out. I think, what do you think about asking a trainer for references? Oh. Can you give me the names of some people who've taken your class so I can talk to them to see how it went for them?
Right. I mean, I know how my husband operates on that side, and he gives his background immediately. And to anybody who wants to know, you can ask as many questions as you want. We used to have plaques hanging all around our store, but a fire destroyed a lot of those. But, the training is still there. We just don't have the credentials to show. So it's difficult. And people that are doing this are spending hard-earned money, and it might be $50, $75, $150, $250, $500. I mean, these classes are all over the place. So, yeah, I mean, for somebody that's serious about it, this is...
And there's a tactful way to ask that, too. You don't want to get him on a defensive right away.
Right.
Like, well, what do you know about it? Why are you trained?
Right.
Can you give me some of your background and who you've trained?
It works best if you get right in their face when you're asking them.
Right. With stuff stuck in your teeth.
Especially Michelle's husband. I would not advise doing that way.
You could do it once.
Yeah. People with that background really don't take well to that saying. Actually, he would probably be very tactful about it.
Right.
And handle it well, but at the same time, not advised. But it is a good question. And how do you find a good instructor? And there are more and more instructors popping up. I would want to know, okay, how long have you been doing it? What's your background? And could I get the names of like 3 people who've been through your class recently? Do you mind?
Right.
So, one of the things I would do as an instructor, as a trainer, if I were doing that, I would ask people I would have a review form that they fill out after the class. Tell me what you thought, good, bad, and different. And I would have on there, would you be okay being a reference if somebody wanted to know how the class went? And then I would actually have their permission to give out their contact information. Otherwise, I would not be giving out contact information for people who took a defensive handgun class. That's a private deal.
Sure.
Right. So even on a national level, if you take a person, I mean, if you're spending, money, because there's differences in costs, obviously, between local instructors, and your big known instructors.
Well, and your overall cost, if you're traveling too, you've got travel expenses tacked onto the course.
Time, travel, the rest of it,
So even then, if you're taking a more known course, you would not be afraid of taking the person of lesser skill to a defensive class, because that's really where they need to be too. They need to learn how to get comfortable with a holster, pulling from a holster, reloading, and shooting.
Actually, I would flip it around. I would be more inclined to take somebody with no experience to one of the best gun schools out there, a Tiger or a Gun Sight or a Thunder Ranch or a SIG Academy, because I know that their instructors are good enough to, and I'm not making this up, to literally take someone who has never touched a firearm in their life. And this happens all the time. I heard just another one at Gun Sight. They said, yeah, we had a husband and wife. He was all trained up, at least he thought. And a wife had never done anything, and she was very worried, very anxious, just nervous. And they just kept saying, it's okay, look, just it's going to be fine. By the end of the second day, she was out shooting him, and she came in third in the class out of everybody there. Yeah. Gee, why? We know the answer, right?
Right. Yep. Yes. We get that on our end.
No bad habits.
Right. So
she listens.
Listen. I'm sorry, Tom. What did you say? No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Touche.
No one ever listens to me.
Oh, bam. Why? Oh. But I
can't imagine why.
That could set a lot of people at ease in deciding, like, how do you know where to even start in the class that you want to take? There is so much to learn, and you have no idea what you don't know. So I guess there's no real bad place to start. Just get going.
No, but the only thing I would say is by getting a references, the only thing I worry about, and I'm not sure if it's as much a deal now as it was in years past, is getting an instructor who wants to treat it like he's a drill instructor, who is, maybe barking at people and yelling at people and all that. I personally don't respond well to that, and a lot of people don't. And so I would want to know that going in.
Conversely, there's a lot of people that will pay for the boot camp experience, too. They want that.
Right.
They want the guy yelling at them and stuff. So
exactly. And if that's what it takes to get your attention, good. But I would have without saying what I would do, because I have it in my mind what I would, but I would have a problem with that kind of instructor. Let's just say that.
Right.
I wouldn't be there after lunch.
Gotcha.
So, but that's where doing
you would, Gresham.
Due diligence.
You're going to drop and give me 20, Gresham.
He's going to ask for the review form first.
Fill this out before the class starts, and then.
Let's see how this is going. But no, I mean, seriously, the top schools they really can. They can say, okay, you've never held a gun before. Okay, because here's the thing. If it's a good class, they're not going to start on the range. They're going to start in the classroom. Let's go over some basics. Let's go over the manipulation of the gun. How does a semi-automatic work? What are we going to be doing with this? What's the safety do? We're going to spend an hour or more in the classroom before we ever go to the range. Does that seem right?
Yeah, get a feel where everybody is, what you know in advance.
And any veterans, so to speak, that are in I don't mean military veterans, but any veteran shooters that are in the class will know that, and hopefully, not have an I know it all attitude, and sit and probably, like you said, probably still learn something. But I mean,
that would be nice if that were the case, but it's not always. You do have some who have the
I shot for 30 years.
Why are we wasting time on this? Well, I'm reminded of a couple of veteran flight instructors I know who they say, yeah, people tell me they've done this and they've done that and all, and so they always just say, yeah, that's fine. Let's just go sit in the airplane and taxi it out. We'll see. It's like, yeah, that's all well and good, but I'll know within 3 minutes of when you pick up the gun what I'm working with here.
Right.
The good flight instructors say, by the time we've taxied to the end of the runway, I know how the flight's going to go. How many times have you had this happen, Michelle, where you see somebody pick up a gun and handle it, and you know from the first 20 seconds of how they pick it up and how they handle it, how it's going to be on the range?
Right, just how they take it out of your hands.
Yes.
I mean, you
exactly.
can. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Well, you remember that wrestling match I had at your store?
Yeah, that was great. Or not, depending.
No jello or mud was involved.
I won. I ended up with the gun, so it worked out okay.
And you were very diplomatic about taking it from
him. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, and see us.
He was a nice gentleman, and it wasn't bad. It was just I kind of wanted to control where the muzzle was pointing.
He was excited.
So,
yeah.
He was excited, and that's good. It was fun.
I've had guys at gun stores, you give them a gun back after you look at it, hand it back, and then you have somebody next to you. Well, why'd you check it again? He just checked it. It was unloaded when he handed it to you. I know.
This is my safety protocol.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
This is for all of us.
and
You're welcome.
the big box stores are, I mean, they're guys, I don't know. I don't want to start slamming big box stores, but I will.
Go for it.
I've got a very good friend who's super gun astute and very knowledgeable. And she's tremendous with guns. She's the only one I know in the big box store. I see so many people just flailing muzzles around and not checking to see if it's unloaded. And we check them every day. They're unloaded. I don't care. I'm checking every hand. Okay. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Okay, that's good. When I take a pistol off and I'm unloading it, obviously remove the magazine first. But I always rack the slide 3 times. It's like an OCD thing for me because, and we've talked about this. If you keep racking the slide and live ammo keeps coming out, you might just want to pay attention because you may have eliminated a step somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. And
what's the
3
harm?
times, just choo-choo.
Well,
exactly. What's the harm?
It takes 2 seconds.
Right. It's one of those things is, when you talk about hunting, dead is dead and safe is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're dead for a long time.
Tom and I were talking about something similar to that off air prior to the show today about this lady that got robbed by 2 other ladies at an ATM, and then he brought it up during the show.
Right.
And we were discussing a little bit, and he had said about a Mossad Ayoub thing that I wasn't aware of, but end up doing anyway. When you go to the bank late at night, or not anything late at night, just about any time, I'll take a quick trip around the building in the car. It takes an extra 20 seconds, big deal. If there's some shaky characters out there in a spot where you normally wouldn't see them at the ATM, I'm not using it. There's tons of other ATMs I can go to.
Right.
Is it
10 years ago.
Okay.
It's okay. Well, Mossad and I did a video 10 years ago on this. And he was saying, look, if you're going to use an ATM machine, particularly a drive-up ATM machine, but any kind, drive around the building once, use your headlights, look and see what's going on, get a sense of, the environment. But, of course, and that's the downside of that is this, Jim. That would require you to stop texting and look up. And that is so darn inconvenient.
You mean I got to set my beer down to stop texting?
Oh, my gosh. Well, and I'll take that one further because I'll tell you what my habits at the bank are. And
we know. We've watched you.
That's kind of creepy. So was the voice. But my habit at the bank, because at least at the bank that I go to, you have to go through the drive-through because the ATM is at the front of the building. So it's past the drive-through area, which means if you were to sit behind a person that was already at the ATM, you would then be within excuse me, wall and concrete barricades. No, thank you.
Nowhere to go forward or backward.
Exactly.
You're trapped and you can't go anywhere. Yeah, you're there.
Right. And so I wait at the end of the drive. I'm not up in their business. Take your time, get your stuff in your purse, get your hands in your car, get your window up and move. And then I'll approach the ATM myself. That's
similar to the red light maneuver where you don't get right up on somebody's back end. You got to exit strategy.
Well, train tracks, everything. That's my husband's fault. Thank you, honey. What if?
Thank you for ruining my life. What ifs.
Leave an exit path.
Yeah. You stop far enough back from the car in front of you so that you can see where its rear tires touch the pavement. If you can't see that particular point, you're too close to them and you can't drive to the left or the right to get around them if something happens. And don't get stuck in the center lane when you're doing that. Be in the right lane or the left lane, but be in a lane where you can get around people if you need to. I remember Ed Head at Gunsight saying he and his wife always say shields up. Whenever they're going to be driving through some place and they may be stopping, they roll their windows up. Make sure all your windows are rolled up. Don't be driving around town with your windows down and stopping at stop signs and traffic lights. What are you thinking? Get your shields up.
Different world we live in now.
It is.
It is, but then again, it's not really that much different. I think we just hear about it more because we have instant access to news everywhere. Probably there were a lot of crimes being perpetrated before, but we didn't hear about the ones in Illinois or the ATM robbery, if there were ATMs back then. We only heard about what happened around us, but now it seems like no matter where it happens, we hear about it, and it feels like it's happening all the time.
Right. Well, and that's
At least that's
their
what
intent.
I choose to think that.
Well, and that's the intent of the media, to put it out there like it is all the time
To
everywhere.
frighten everyone?
Well, no. Sensationalism.
Yes, because
It sells.
fear sells.
Yeah.
Fear brings people back. It increases ratings. Like I say, listen to the news and listen to how many times they say, "Oh, that was scary." Coming up, a frightening, whatever the heck it was, bowl of soup. I don't know.
Right.
Threw you on that one, didn't I?
If it was cabbage soup, that could be frightening a little
Be
later.
careful of the crusty bread. Be careful of the crusty bread.
This really has gone off the rails. You know that.
But I've left an exit strategy.
She said,
Well,
taking her headphones off.
I just got in a care package. I'd placed a large order for ammo. Ooh. So I got a bunch of 38 and 357 mag ammo in. Ooh. So I'm going to go out and start playing. Going to send some stuff downrange. I have actually I have several revolvers that'll work for that, but I have to get another one.
Oh,
so
you can do it.
We're getting another. I can do it.
Sure, it's easier to call Dury's or somebody than it is to, actually walk over to your safe and open it.
Well, there's bound to be something new.
There's always something. Well, if not new, at least something you don't have, or sometimes you don't have enough of. Mm-hmm. So there's that too. But I do have the 8-shot Smith & Wesson revolver 357, which is delightful, but not a carry gun, more of a... Actually, it's a cool home defense gun because it comes with a rail. You can put a light on that bad boy, 8 shots of 357 Magnum. You can pretty much take care of that.
That's one with the monster barrel on it.
Yep.
It looks real
big
tactical.
Barrel on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saw that.
Yep. Cool gun, great trigger. But I want a little bit smaller gun for carry, so getting that. And I don't know, I'm thinking about some others. I'm thinking about getting, you know what I don't have? I don't have a nice 20 gauge over and under. And I would really, as my go-to, do everything, carry it everywhere, hunting shotgun, I think a 20 gauge would be kind of the way to go.
Less recoil.
Fitted to me, of course, with my, measurements. Since the left-handedness works against you in this case because a lot of the factory over and unders come with a little bit of cast for a right-handed shooter. And boy, when you try to shoot it left-handed, that's a mess. It's really awful.
And you can't just send your shoulder to Brian Belinsky and have him fit a gun to that. You
Or I
have
could
to
just,
actually be there.
people say, well, just learn to shoot right-handed. What's wrong with you, man? Sure, we can do that.
Just crash your head over.
But
the
I
other
don't
side of
wanna.
the stack.
Well, that's what you generally, cock your head way over and use your right eye while you're shooting left-handed. That or the other way around. I don't know.
It's a shotgun. You only got to get close anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, how could you possibly miss with a shotgun? Oh, yeah, you want to go watch me shoot skeet? I'll show you how. Easy. That's where they came up with the phrase, to hit is history, to miss is mystery. I have no idea where I shot. I just don't know, because you don't have paper out there. So you don't even know where you're shooting. And everybody will say, oh, yeah, you're behind it. Well, not always. Sometimes you're in front of it.
That's a
And then I
lot.
like the guys who watch the wad, shoot, and they see the wad. Of course, it slows down. So, but they see the wad pass behind the target. Oh, you're behind it. So you end up shooting like 42 feet in front of it and wondering why you're still missing it. Well, you're not trying to hit it with the wad.
And then you escalate
You're not?
that.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
Escalate that to the muzzle-loading shotgun. So you got trapper speed with muzzle-loaders. Oh, what fun is that?
Yes, you got the delay built into that. Oh, God.
Get beyond the
What fun.
smoke so you can see.
No, you got to have somebody stand off to the side to tell you if you hit it or not.
That's right.
Because you'll never know.
Gosh, is that fun?
Is that the sport where you say, pull in a minute?
No.
Give me a second.
What I want you to do is pull right before I call for it. Huh? I need the
that's awesome.
ESP guy doing that. Well, but also when you're shooting a shotgun like that, if you're hunting, like if it's a pheasant, you shoot and then you got to duck down to see if it falls out from underneath the cloud.
Nice.
Crazy fun stuff.
It's fun.
Man, this is all fun stuff. So, any ammo, any scopes? Wait, well, I don't have to ask Michelle because we know that the 327 federal rifle, lever action.
Now I have to go home and say there's something I'd like to have for Christmas.
See, you thought you were done.
With a 200 millimeter, 10,000 to 1 scope on it, and leg holster.
A belt-fed lever action.
Belt-fed lever.
And I need a new Jeep to go with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you accessorize.
Right. That's just Thank you.
I like the way you think. And since it is a lever action, you've got to get something like the King Ranch version that's all westerned up for your Jeep.
See, now I'm going to have to change. My father-in-law's philosophy to Christmas was always, if you can't shoot it, read it, wear it, or eat it, it's not worth having. So now I have to change that to shoot it, read it, wear it, eat it, or drive it.
That's right.
Now, you know what happened? That just became a $30,000 rifle.
But 7 years of payments.
Yes, that's right. I'm still making payments on my rifle. Okay, have you seen the silly thing on internet, Facebook, of the camouflage Jeep picture? And it's just 4 tires sitting there.
That camo's excellent, dude.
Oh, man, that's some real good stuff there. I'd pay extra for that.
We have a great snow camo rifle at the shop right now, Jim Kenzie.
What do you
have
have?
to come look
What do you
at
have?
it.
What is it?
I think we have, it is a Thompson Center Venture in a 308.
Ooh, a fitting snowmobile.
Can you splash a little white on there so you have the snow camo?
It does have the snow camo. It's in snow camo.
Oh, it does have the snow
yeah.
camo. Oh, I missed that. Snow camo.
Yep.
Sweet.
There you go.
That way you wouldn't have to carry a gun in your holster. You could just wear that on the outside. Or I bet you could even sell him like the holders for his snowmobile, so he could have a saddle scabbard on it. It'd be like John Wayne and True Grit, you know.
It'd be awesome. He'd look good with that.
I still got 15 minutes to get to the store, so...
There he goes. Man. You know what he's doing right now? He's going over to your store and ordering a .327 Federal rifle because he's going to get the first one in that way.
Right.
Man. Well, so it goes. Oh. Well, all right. I better let you go. You got to call the store and get your order in.
Right. Henry, watch out.
That's right. That sounds like we're going to get Anthony on here probably right after Christmas to talk about that.
That's awesome.
That's such a cool idea.
Good for them.
Well, you guys have a good time. Watch out for those Christmas robbers because they are out there in the parking lots especially. Go with somebody else who can watch your back so you walk around the parking lot back to back. That's not obvious or anything, is it?
No, but there's always lighting. We have lighting. You can use that to your advantage.
Do you walk through the parking lot with your flashlight in your hand at night?
I have a flashlight available to me at all times.
I always have my flashlight in my hand at night when I'm walking to the car. Because you can shine it on the car when you get there, make sure there's no feet underneath it or on the other side. But also if somebody were just to walk up to you, just bang, just hit them with the flashlight. Hi, can I help you? And just blind them, find out what's going on there. Mm-hmm. There you go. Just little things, you know. It's not paranoid, it's prepared.
Well, Streamlight makes some great little flashlights to put right on the keychain.
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. That way, when you have your keys in your hand, you have your flashlight in your hand.
And you can have mace right there, too, so you are all kind of prepared. Flashlight, mace, concealed carry, you got it.
But, you know, if you have a weapon-mounted light, you can use that for shining it at everything on the parking lot. That would probably work just fine.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't generate any kind of curiosity from police.
We might want to rethink that one. Saying.
Oh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kenzie's still gone. Okay. God, we won.
I'm going to have to figure out how to turn off the board.
Just walk out. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
All right. We'll see you soon.
We're good. All right. You have a good week. We'll check you in next week, which will be the last one before Christmas.
Yay. All right. Take care, Tom.
All right. You too. Bye.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.